Working with clients helps build deeper partnerships because, first, any partnership is built on trust. So it helps you establish trust. And our industry right now is going through an immense amount of change. So to have that consistency, that layer of trust, that familiarity helps them navigate all of the changes around them. I also believe that when you establish a relationship with a client, you're able to establish best practices. So you understand what they're looking for in a partnership, what's going to make the partnership successful, what they don't want in a partnership. So having that baseline helps you then take it and expand it throughout the ecosystem. I mentioned change before. Nobody is immune to that, but our organization is quite large, as are some of our brand partners. Most of them are very matrixed organizations. So we take what I would say a concierge approach, where we help them navigate both our side of the house, but often theirs. Very often we're talking to different pieces of their organization, whether that's their licensing or their consumer products. And sometimes the left hand isn't talking to the right hand. So having that relationship and helping them understand not only how to navigate our org, but sometimes on their own internal organization has been hugely beneficial for us.
And what does that do for content and storytelling?
For content and storytelling, I think it allows us to expand it in a way where we say we take it from sponsorship to participation. So they're not just sponsoring the IP, they're actually becoming part of the IP. And when you understand a brand, it has to be a mutual fit. Sometimes we used to say it was invitation only in a sense, but again, if we're going to help them identify IP that makes sense not just for them, but for us, because audiences today can see right through anything that is inauthentic. So allowing them to participate in that culture, surround it, it also gives them a runway, so they're not taking place in one moment. It gives us an ability to build on whatever story we're telling and take it through to the next chapter.
Warner Brothers Discovery reaches audiences across a massive global portfolio of premium brands. So, how do you help brands find and establish the right cultural connection to IP?
Sure. We spoke earlier about trust. I think the first part that we do on the client partnership side is going in to understand their business. What are they trying to solve? Where's the deficit, perhaps? What is important to them? Where are the audiences they're trying to reach? So it's not necessarily what's in our portfolio. It is what are they trying to do? And then we marry it to IP that helps them solve that problem. So again, part of it too, as we become a larger and larger organization, is reminding them of the IP in our portfolio. I don't know if I said to you today, Warner Brothers Discovery, what resonates. If you walk down the avenue here, you'll see our activation all White Lotus branded. But again, I think because streaming is everywhere, it's reminding them, one, what's in the portfolio, but then finding that connection to the IP that's going to solve a problem for them.
Warner Brothers Discovery talks about balancing art and science. So, how do you make that balance between data and automation and human creativity?
Sure. Data and insights are obviously going to drive everything that we do. And without measurement and targeting, we wouldn't put the IP in the right places. But I think what we try to do on our team is identify an insight. So for example, we know that 60% of the streaming that's happening on our platform are our audience going back and looking at old titles. Nostalgic, so think Friends or Gilmore Girls. That's all in our library. But once we knew that was 60% of our viewing, we then created something called the Storyverse. So essentially, our team goes in and we're not just pitching the IP that you see, which HBO Max does a great job of, the episodic content that's being released every week, but going back into those archives. So we took that insight, knowing that that's what our consumers were looking for, and then helped build campaigns around it. So you may have seen when Sally met Hellman's, which we did a few years back, we helped Walmart bring back the Gilmore Girls. So leaning into that IP, we also have a huge holiday collection from National Lampoon's, Elf, you name it, and helping our clients find IP that resonates with them. But again, we use that insight to drive how we were positioning our IP, but it's necessarily just to help marry the two. We don't necessarily, the insight is what launches the story.
How are you helping brands connect with fans in ways that are meaningful and organic?
Sure. I think the easiest way to answer that question is we have a huge portfolio, but if we narrow it down, we have entertainment, we have sports, we have news. Again, I think we identify the passion points of our audience And that helps brands identify where they want to lean in. Because very often, once you identify the passion point, then you can tap into those communities again and show up authentically. Like if you understand the audience, then you can create content that speaks directly to that audience.